Tonight on the news at 6. What the COVID-19 relief package approved last night means for Montana's biggest industry. Plus,
I wanted to be on the front line just to be compassionate to people.
Meet a group of frontline workers playing a critical role in the fight against COVID-19.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Good evening. Welcome to the News at 6. I'm Marian Davidson. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, leaders in the agriculture industry say Montana farmers and ranchers will see significant benefits from the COVID-19 relief and spending package Congress approved yesterday. The Montana Farm Bureau Federation estimates $13 billion from the stimulus package will directly support agriculture. Some of the biggest boosts for Montana: more assistance for specialty crop growers and other farmers, a major investment in rural broadband service, and new grants for small meat and poultry processors to upgrade their operations. The extension of the Paycheck Protection Program will also help small farmers pay their employees. Farm Bureau leaders say this package will help farmers and ranchers now, but in the long term, the most important thing will be encouraging demand for their products.
Rather than take package like this, we'd rather have the markets available. And so the hurdle is to, maintain the trade that we're looking at now and expanding trade opportunities for farmers and ranchers. We produce far more than we can consume. So what's going to drive our price is demand.
Now, the chairwoman of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribal Council says they will meet soon to discuss ratifying the Montana Water Rights Protection Act. The settlement was included in the spending bill Congress approved last night alongside COVID-19 stimulus. The bipartisan effort resolves a decades-long dispute over the water rights granted under the 1855 Hellgate Treaty. The legislation provides $1.9 billion to upgrade the Flathead Indian Irrigation Project from its headwaters to the farms and ranches across the basin. In a press conference this afternoon, Chairwoman Shelley Fayant thanked Montana's congressional delegation, Steve Daines, John Tester, and Greg Gianforte, along with Governor Steve Bullock and Attorney General Tim Fox for their work. She also noted the long list of tribal leaders and staff that made this momentous day for the tribe possible.
This will conclude a very long effort to quantify the water rights of the Salish, Kalispah, and Kasanka people. We chose the path of negotiation, and now we can avoid decades of acrimonious litigation on streams across much of Montana and protect many streams with sufficient amounts of water to ensure that fish can survive.
Fayant expressed excitement about what the agreement means for water users, wildlife, and fish habitats, and the thousands of jobs that it will create for years to come. All right, now it's time for First Weather, and filling in for Curtis Grevenitz tonight, we've got Andy Curtis.
Well, we had a little bit of snow out there across the states. I don't know if it'll hang around for Christmas because temperatures are really going to start jumping up over the next couple of days, but there's snow out there for sure, and with it comes a few words of warning. Winter weather advisory in effect for a good chunk of our viewing audience, and then out to the east, high wind watch. So winds will be present here, and that's part of the reason there's the advisory. That snow combined with the wind means not great driving conditions, and then you sprinkle in cold temperatures tonight. We're talking low teens into tomorrow, so not a great evening to be outside. Now, just a little bit of snow down below. More of that snow was seen above 5,000 feet, and that's really where most of that winter weather advisory was situated for, but still, driving conditions could be nasty out there. So welcome back, winter, and try to hang on to it because it's not sticking around, because sun will be in the forecast over the next couple of days leading into Christmas, and we could just possibly see some snow next week, and I'll tell you more in the full forecast.
Well, taking a look at Montana's COVID-19 situation, a combination of state and local data shows active cases of COVID-19 continue a steady decline. There are just over 7,800 active cases in the state right now. The total number of deaths in Montana stand at 942, with 24 deaths reported since last night. And active hospitalizations are sitting at just over 250. And testing is a critical part of the fight against COVID-19. Tonight, MTN's Alexia Guayo introduces us to a group of frontline workers administering those important tests.
So I am a certified medical assistant and certified phlebotomy technician at PureView.
I'm 22 years military retired.
I've been a nurse for about 14 years.
These medical professionals have all walked different paths, but their dedication and drive led them all to the same place, the very front line of the pandemic, the testing line.
I knew it was something that we needed. I mean, it didn't seem like this was going to end anytime soon, and the medical field needed help, taking care of the patients.
By administering COVID-19 tests, they are sometimes the first healthcare professionals someone with coronavirus symptoms will see face to face.
I wanted to be on the front line just to be compassionate to people and let them know that we're here to help them and make sure that they're getting taken care of.
Team members like Jana serve as runners. She assists in any way possible, from restocking protective equipment to calling people with their results. She works a 12-hour shift.
That if I was the one driving through in a car, I would want to know my results and get them quickly and accurately. So it's nice to know to keep the public informed on their health.
In November, PureView says they were testing over 200 people daily. The average in December is still about 200 people being tested every day.
You feel bad because a lot of them have symptoms or have been exposed, and it's kind of bad circumstance, but at the same time, the outlook of things getting tested and being willing to quarantine to kind of protect other people is something neat.
These medical professionals stress the importance of wearing masks and following local health guidelines. PureView is getting ready to vaccinate these employees this week. In Helena, I'm Alexi Aguayo, MTN News.
Lewis and Clark Public Health says it will coordinate and distribute the COVID-19 vaccine in the county. LCPH has put together a vaccine coordination team that includes representatives from St. Peter's Health, PureView Health, the Helena Indian Alliance, the Montana VA, and local and state disaster and emergency groups. The team will develop the priorities for vaccination, points of distribution, communication, and community messaging. Right now, the vaccine is only available to frontline healthcare workers and residents of long-term care facilities, but that will soon expand to all eligible healthcare workers. Now, there is no timeline for when the vaccine will be available to the general public. Well, new tonight at 6, Lewis and Clark County has selected the panel that will help shape zoning regulations across the Helena Valley. The County Commission named 12 voting members of a Blue Ribbon Zoning Advisory Panel this morning. They include Valley residents, developers, realtors, and other stakeholders. The panel's biggest decision will be whether to propose an alternative to a 10-acre minimum lot size in rural areas. That is the most controversial part of the county zoning plan adopted earlier this year. They will also make recommendations on zoning rules for suburban and urban areas of the county. More than 30 people applied to serve on the panel, and commissioners thanked everyone who was willing to volunteer for the work.
Everyone comes with his own particular perspective and natural and bright self-interest. And all of these 12 people who have applied have expressed their willingness to serve. By the time all is said and done, these 12 points of view will coalesce into acting in the public interest.
The panel is expected to finish its work in about 1 year. You can find the full list of panel members on our website, ktvh.com. And tonight, an update on a story we first reported last month. The Montana Department of Transportation reached out to us today to tell us a team made up of state agencies and contractors from the Toston Structures Project worked together to pick up trash along an 8-mile stretch of the Missouri River. MDT Fish, Wildlife and Parks, Riverside Contracting, and Sletton Construction removed plastic water bottles, lumber, channel marker buoys, and other trash between Toston and Yorks Island. According to MDT, the cleanup effort was in response to a KTVH and MTN story about an unusual amount of trash downstream from the project. Now, there are pictures, these are the pictures MDT took of the cleanup that they posted on their Facebook page. We began looking into the amount of trash on that section of the river after a concerned citizen reached out to us looking for answers. Now, in their email to KTVH, MDT said, quote, all parties involved felt it is important to follow up with KTVH as the presence of debris downstream of the new bridge cast a negative light over an otherwise outstanding infrastructure improvement, end quote. MDT suggested that anyone with concerns about the project call the Construction Information Hotline at 1-800-982-3161. We're continuing to follow this story, and next week we'll tell you more about efforts to clean up the same area of the river by an avid group of kayakers. And still ahead on the news at 6, a bit of holiday history straight from the mining city.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. Thanks so much for spending some time with us this evening. Well, this year has been a little quiet, but Butte is the kind of town that looks for any excuse to celebrate. And as history proves, Christmas time was a big time of year for the mining city to show off its holiday spirit. With a look at Christmas's past, here's MTN's John Amy.
Christmas in Butte this year doesn't have the same spirit it had in the past.
Butte loves celebrating Christmas. The different neighborhoods had community Christmas trees, so they'd choose a large tree in a square to decorate. Butte's businesses went all decked out, and they'd decorate the exteriors of their buildings for Christmas.
A tradition of giving and generosity was very common during Christmas in Butte's early years.
They would create Christmas baskets for families around town. During times of strikes, they would help people who couldn't afford Christmas dinner and help them have dinner. So that was one theme I really noticed, was that Butte's people helping their own during times of need. And I think this year that's something we're seeing still today.
The old Butte neighborhood of Meaderville, which was swallowed up by the Berkeley pit decades ago, used to host big Christmas displays. Part of that old display can be viewed here at the World Museum of Mining.
So although it's not occurring anymore, I think Butte's really kept the traditions alive and tried to remember those traditions. I think Christmas is just a holiday where it's about coming together. So I think that since that's the Butte spirit anyway, that maybe that's why Butte's Christmas hits so hard.
Well, that was John Amy reporting, but Butte did have to cancel its annual Christmas stroll and ice carving events this year because of the pandemic. But the city is hopeful those traditions will come back bigger and better than ever this time next year. All right, now with another look at the weather, here's Andy Curtis.
Well, lucky for us, it's starting to look a little bit more like Christmas out across Montana tonight, but that might not last as we get closer to the big day on Friday. I'll tell you what weather we could expect, though, coming up after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Andy Curtis filling in for Curtis Grevenitz tonight. We actually have some snow to talk about. But before we get too excited about that, if you're a skier, it's probably not going to last too long, or at least we won't be getting more of it as we head into Christmas. Right now in Great Falls, 24 degrees, but it feels like 12. Big part of that is because of that wind. Down in Helena, similar situation, surprisingly. Temperature 26 degrees, but it feels like 14 and just a little bit of a breeze there as well. Now we take a look statewide, and those temperatures, 24 like we saw in Great Falls, a little bit colder up in Cut Bank, 20, 26 in Havre, Lewistown, 20. And I'm no meteorologist, no big city meteorologist, but I suspect that the temperature is that feels like a little bit cooler in those areas as well. So it's going to be a cold night, and we have a winter weather advisory in effect for most of the viewing area. Now, it's a little worse up 5,000 feet and above, but you really have to pay attention and be careful when you're driving, because that snow combined with some decent wind, 20, 25 miles per hour, and those dropping temperatures could spell disaster if you get into any kind of trouble when you're if you're outside for any long period of time. So please keep that in mind if you're driving or doing anything tonight. Radar showing that snow sticking around at the moment, but it will start to taper off, and no reinforcements coming from Canada or out from the West Coast. So tonight is the last of the snow that we should be seeing, any new snow that is, that we should be seeing for the rest of the week. Here's what I'm talking about. Tonight, it's kind of just pockets of it as we get into Wednesday morning, though. Things really start to clear up, and we're actually going to have a pretty clear and decent start to our Wednesday. The wind will still be very noticeable. Won't be 50-mile-per-hour gusts like it was, but it'll be breezy in spots as we head through Wednesday, but we will have a good amount of sunshine. Thursday, Christmas Eve, that wind, for the most part, will stop. We'll have a pretty calm Christmas Eve and a pretty sunny Christmas Eve. You can see right there for yourself, all those clouds are getting out of here, giving Santa plenty of clearance to come through the state Thursday night into Friday. And on Christmas Day, it'll be pretty sunny and actually pretty warm for Christmas here in Montana. And here's a look at the snow that we are expecting to see. And like I said, that snow that's coming through tonight and right now, depending on where you are, that's about it. That's not a lot. I mean, we're seeing maybe about an inch Havre, maybe an inch and a half in Helena, maybe an inch and a half in Great Falls. So not a blizzard, not a real snowmaker that a lot of skiers were expecting or hoping for today. Temperatures dropping down tonight. Part of the reason we got a winter weather advisory. Very cold evening. And it was 3 degrees for our expected low tonight in Lewistown. 13 at Great Divide. So very cold, surprisingly, where there's up at the ski resorts. And in Great Falls, 7-day forecast. Like I said, tomorrow, it's going to be sunny, and the wind's still sticking around. Temperatures are not too bad, not too different from today, a little warmer, 36 degrees. But we got a little bit of a warm-up Thursday and Friday, 48 degrees with that wind still sticking around Great Falls. It'll be cooler, calmer rather, in other parts of the state. And Friday, 46 degrees for Christmas Day. And then this weekend, the cloud cover will be a little bit more full, and that's when we can expect our next round of snow, possibly. Now, Helena, 31 tomorrow, and wind a little bit less up in Great Falls, but Thursday and Friday, almost no wind to speak of, very calm and sunny both days with temperatures in the 40s. So it will be a sunny and somewhat warm Christmas.
Thanks for that, Andy. Well, coming up on the news at 6, how one longtime coach is adjusting to a very different basketball season.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. Well, basketball teams are slowing down for the holidays, and this time of year, they would normally have somewhere between 4 and 5 games under their belts going into the break. But with no non-conference games scheduled this year, teams have had to focus all of their energy into practices, getting ready for games. COVID-19 protocols mean they are not your standard practices. Helena Capital boys basketball coach Guy Almquist said they have had to take a completely new approach to this season, and no amount of experience could have prepared him for it.
This might be my 23rd year coaching. Might as well be my first. I mean, this has been a completely different year in terms of even how you pick teams, how you, prepare for practice. So your preparation is completely different, and the season is going to be completely different.
The Helena Capital boys will open their basketball season in the new year, taking the court on January 7th in Butte. And we'll go to Great Falls after the break, where Christmas started a little bit early.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back, and as always, we've saved a fun story for last. Christmas festivities started a little early in downtown Great Falls this afternoon. Great Falls Fire Rescue hosted a reverse holiday parade downtown. The parade started at 1 in front of the Civic Center and continued for 2 hours, offering festive and healthy Christmas spirit. First responders created a bright and cheery display with their emergency vehicles, and Santa even made an appearance at the parade. People showed their holiday spirit with a wave or a honk as they drove by.
And we got a little bit of snow out there, but it won't last. At least it won't last falling from the sky, because the next couple of days are snow-free. Tomorrow, 31 degrees. Going to be windy still, though, 29-mile-per-hour gusts. And Thursday, Christmas Eve, and Friday, Christmas Day, at least in the Helena area, things are going to be downright calm and sunny. So very uncharacteristic Christmas around the capital city. In Great Falls, that wind's going to stick around just a little bit longer, surprisingly. Tomorrow, 28 miles or 26-mile-per-hour gusts and temperatures, 36. And then a warm-up across the state Thursday and Friday, 48 in Great Falls and 46 degrees on Christmas Day.
All right, well, that does it for the news at 6. We'll be back here at 10 with your latest local headlines and, of course, another look at that weather. Have a great evening. We'll see you back here at 10.